This is the teenager stabbed his mom 63 times. That's actually insane. Let's get it.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Coming
What's
in
up,
and
brother?
sitting down because today we're talking about internet stories. You know, I have a podcast called Creepcast where we go over creepypastas, and this is one thing that affects our story today. And I just want to say viewer discretion is advised because today we're going into true crime meat.
What?
No, it's serious. Real quick.
Oh, okay.
It's fucked up. And it's messed up.
True
because
crime meat is a kind of crazy thing to say. I ain't gonna lie.
the internet it's a place for silly memes and jokes and funny stories, and sometimes these stories are called creepypastas. And what are creepypastas? Well, they're like scary stories that usually edgy 12-year-olds write to kind of shock each other. That was kind of a big thing in the 2010s, and it was harmless fun. It really is. It's harmless fun. It's stupid stories. However, in the hands of one troubled child, it was the catalyst for one of the most brutal murders in recent history. Which we've done videos about something similar before with the Slender Man stabbings in 2014, where two 12-year-old girls, Morgan Geyser
I remember that. Bro, it's so crazy to me. Like, you're 12. Now you're going to jail for life. Like, you're 12. Going to jail for life. Like, do you not see the problem here?
Brought one of their friends to the woods and stabbed her 19 times. Casual stuff. Normal. Just another day in the park. They claimed it was to appease Slender Man. The fictional character they believed was real. The internet's obsession with a character. It's like a new age tale of like the Amityville murders. An angel told me to do it. The devil whispered in my ear, told me to do it. Slender Man told me to do it. It's kind of an interesting evolution, isn't it? So today we're going to talk about the horrible case of Donovan Nicholas, who was inspired by the infamous creepypasta Jeff the Killer. The 14-year-old child successfully carried out a plan to stab his mother 63 times.
Oh my god, bro. How do you...
So let's take
First
a
of
look.
all,
I can't believe...
That's like throwing 63 punches in a row. You'll be fucking winded after that. Like, you'll deadass be tired. Like, you didn't get tired. Yo, niggas be like, oh, it was Slenderman talking to me. It was Jeff the Killer. No, nigga, that is your brain. You just gave it an excuse. You gave your brain an excuse to do something. Oh, no, it wasn't me. It was this. No, nigga, it's you. It's you. You just found something to blame it on.
I believe I'm going to say this. Let's take a look into the Jeff the Killer homicide. My God. Jeff the Killer squared.
My name is Jeff.
But for people who don't know, who don't understand the reaction to this, maybe you don't know who Jeff the Killer is, which before I read the story, I didn't know how infamous he was.
I've seen the face. I did not know the name.
Seen this picture.
Yeah.
You maybe have seen it. It's pretty famous. It's in terms of like meme culture, everything. This has been around for a long time, but people might not know the story around.
Yeah, I don't.
Obviously, we're not going to read the whole story, but I at least want to give you an understanding of what the story is. A little beat for beat. Let's just see what happens. Jeff the Killer is an old creepypasta entry that came out around 2011, right? I mean, like that's like the birth of creepypasta era. We did a video on Creepcast about it, and if you want to hear the whole story, you can go there if you actually want the entire story in all of its perfection. Also, maybe listen to it on Spotify. I don't know. But here's a quick summary. The story revolves around Jeffrey Woods, a 13-year-old boy who moves into a neighborhood with his mother, his father, and brother, Lou. Anytime you see a character is like, I'm 13, I just moved here, you definitely know the author is 13 years old. Just that's a rule of creepypasta. Or it's maybe even like an 11-year-old who's like, man, when I'm 13, I'm gonna be a grown-up. While waiting for the school bus, the two of them get into a brutal fight with a group of bullies. Jeff goes berserk, and he takes down all three of them and stabbing two of them in the process.
Oh my god.
Hardcore.
Okay.
It is hardcore. After fleeing the scene, police officers appear at the doorsteps to question them, and in the end, his brother Lou takes the blame and ends up being sent to juvie. James, why would you let Lou do that? And days go by, depressed and lonely. Jeff is urged by his mother to go to a birthday party for their neighbor Billy. And during the party, Jeff is jumped by the same bullies from before, where he is beaten half to death. Eventually, Jeff snaps. He beats one of the bullies to death and bludgeons another with a towel rack. And in the process, Jeff...
Where the fuck did you get a towel rack? I've never heard this story, but where the fuck did you get a towel rack?
Jeff snaps. He beats one of the bullies to death and bludgeons another with a towel rack. And in the process, Jeff is covered in alcohol and bleach before being lit on fire by the remaining bully. Lou is released from juvie after the bullies confess to initiating the first assault, just in time to see Jeff in the hospital as his bandages are getting removed. Once removed, it's revealed that Jeff's face is leathery and pale white, his hair is singed black, and his lips are bright red.
Huh.
It's at this point that Jeff snaps, laughing uncontrollably. He thought his new face was perfect. That night, his mother enters the bathroom to see Jeff carving a smile into his cheeks, claiming he wanted to keep smiling when his face got tired. He also burned out his eyelids so he could forever look at his new face. His mother wakes up their dad, telling him to get the gun.
Get the gun.
Jeff overhears this and guts them both with a kitchen knife. The story ends with Jeff entering Lou's room, holding a knife, and telling him just to go to sleep. And that's the story of Jeff the Killer. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but that's pretty much it. You get a little bit of the Joker in there, you know, very why so serious code. It's cool. It's one of those things, Jeff the Killer, it's out of date, it's cringe. At the same time, it's internet history at this point, right? I don't think we know.
Like, if I would have read that as a kid, I'd probably be like, oh, that's actually not, you know, but now I'm like, this shit is corny. But I get it, you know what I'm saying? The internet was fresh, bro. It was like, niggas was still trying to find themselves on the internet, so I get it.
Wrote the story. Editor, is there something like that? If so, I want to get in contact with you, seriously. If you're out there, there's some stuff I want to talk to you about, for real. And this story, this epic piece of internet culture was enough to inspire 14-year-old Donovan Nicholas to stab his mother to death in excess. It's insane. It's insane what people gravitate towards. And here's the thing, too. I want to get into this before we get too far into the video.
Also, before he gets too far into the video, we're getting too far into the video, and he does his thing, and I do my thing. I will say this. Kids are very impressionable, but kids are very dumb.
Said this is a serious matter. I'm not going to be joking about all that. This is real shit that's happening. This is a obviously mentally disturbed person. I don't want people going into this thinking that, like, you know, it's like the whole thing, like, GTA makes people dangerous. I don't believe that. I think mentally ill people latch onto anything. If it wasn't this, it would have been something else.
He could have read a comic book about
He
Jeff
could have
the Killer.
read a fucking comic book about something. Exactly. So I just want to say, mentally ill
Manic,
people
maybe?
latch on and do if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. If you're mentally ill and you're reading comics, talk to a therapist. I don't know what to tell you.
If you're mentally ill, stay away from creepypastas.
Hey, if you're mentally ill, don't unlock the beast with creepypastas. Okay, whatever.
Don't
Let's
unlock
talk about
the beast,
Donovan
it's crazy.
Nicholas a little bit, his early life.
Psychopath?
Donovan Nicholas
Maybe.
grew up in a farm country in Ohio. He was a quiet kid, but intelligent nonetheless. He had been dealing with loneliness and depression from a young age, encountering feelings of worthlessness, and grew older. According to one of many doctors that evaluated him, he, quote, reported feeling isolated and separated from those around him for several years. By 6th grade, these feelings had escalated to the point where he was having thoughts and engaging in self-harm. He told the doctors that there was no support when it came to finding medical treatment, so he tried to tough it out on his own. Donovan had been living with his father, Shane Nicholas, and his 40-year-old girlfriend, Heidi Faye Taylor, as well as their 2 children. According to Donovan, his relationship with Heidi was strained beyond belief. They were constantly getting in fights over the littlest things. Donovan's real mother lost custody of him at birth, which Shane believes caused a lot of this tension between the two of them. Because Shane traveled a lot for work and the other kids had moved out, Heidi and Donovan were often around each other the most. Donovan details that Heidi despised him, referring to him as a waste of space, and often treated him unfairly by constantly screaming at him for whatever reason she could find. Regardless.
Oh. Now listen. I'm not condoning this. But you can see right now, where a person who's not mentally right in their head would be like, this is the person I want to take out. Because the nigga's already depressed, he's isolated, and he feels like you're like one of the main people picking on him and making his life harder. Oh, he's gonna snap on you. He's just looking for a reason. He's looking for something to, oh, this is why I did this. Nah, he's already picked you as the person. The crash out was building up.
Donovan never responded with violence and was quite harmless. His father could recall enjoying fishing trips with his son, who hated the idea of catching them and seeing them suffocate out of the water. Innocent boy, wrapped in turmoil. It's one of those things, too, where if you're a little sponge when you're younger, you could see the Jeff the Killer thing and just be like, that's me, you know?
That's what happened.
Through assorted text conversations with friends, it became clear that Donovan was becoming increasingly more fascinated with dark topics, such as death.
I feel like that's normal for 14-year-olds.
Yeah, dude. Start having those panic attacks where you're up at night and you're like, when I died, is there even anything there?
Or everyone goes
facts.
through that phase where, you know, kill animals.
Whoa. Everyone. Who's everyone? Who's everyone? What do you mean? Because I don't go through that. I don't go through that phase. What do you mean everyone goes through that phase? There is no everyone. That's not this and this is not that.
These conversations, he started bringing up his idolization for character Jeff the Killer. Okay, first off, I just want to, if my friend was like, I just think Jeff the Killer's cool, I keep an eye on that guy.
On God.
I would probably be like, dude, no. If anything, if I'm 14, I'm saying some shit like, dude, no, Jeff the Killer's fucking gay. No. Yeah. It'd be one of those kind of conversations. He explained, quote, at that time I admired Jeff the Killer to like a fantasy of me wanting to be him. I idolized him because he stood up for himself and he was brave and he didn't let anyone mess with him, so to say. And when somebody did, he took action.
Yeah, he saw the bully.
Bruh, you couldn't like find your hero in Captain America or something, my nigga? You couldn't find your hero in like Iron Man? Jeff the Killer, that's who?
He's like, yeah, I need to do that.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's like, fucking Heidi, barely having sex with my dad. I'm gonna fucking kill Heidi. Later, he put it more simply, saying, I never had power. Jeff has power.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That's actually haunting. That's definitely at the lunch table when everyone's like sitting there, they have like their milk cartons. You're just like, Jeff has power. Okay. I guess I gotta go back to social studies. Take care, Donovan. Like, just dead spread off. Despite his own words, Donovan eventually began engaging in lengthy text conversations about how he would successfully get away with killing people. Never did that as a kid.
Oh,
The
nah,
14-year-old
yeah,
thing of,
nah.
like, you know, death or whatever. You know, you get a little more edgy, you get a little more grit. Like back in the day, it was, I saw a video, I think it was called like One Man, One Hammer. It was like a Russian video. Beating a guy.
Yo, God, you really brought up some fucking memories, my nigga. Oh my God. Chat, all those one man, one whatever, I've seen all of them, and that was a terrible place. That's a terrible time in internet history.
Died to death with like a hammer. It's like one of those old like live leak videos or whatever, or like One Man, One Jar.
Yeah.
Right? Squat and pop. You know what I mean? You do that, but never am I like, I'm like, guys, like seriously think I could get away with it. I don't think I've never had one friend say that. And if you did, everyone's usually like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then probably throw a gay thing in there. Dude, you're being gay.
I think one time, not kill someone, but in 6th grade, I told my friends, like, I really want to burn the school down. Bruh. And he just got quiet.
That is a fucking weird thing to say.
I think we were just venting about class.
Also, your school's made of like stone.
Oh shit.
Right? Burn it fucking down. This hell institution. I was friends with this guy. He died when I was like probably like a sophomore in high school, like a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. He was like a junior or senior, I can't remember, but we would go to his D&D groups, and he was like a real rebel. He hated the jocks, and he like would stand up on those lunch tables, and he would like kind of just make fun of them in front of everybody. Basically started dating this one hot chick, but basically found out that she died. She was like poor. They lived in the same trailer park, and everyone was blaming it on him. And then he had to go into an alternate dimension and play master of puppet.
What?
Did you not know I was talking about?
Well, I was
Eddie
like, what are
Munson?
you talking about?
You're just like behind the camera, like it's like so clearly Eddie Munson. He had D&D campaign and everything.
Well, I knew. I was like, is this from a movie? What is this from? I've never seen that season.
Okay, dude, don't. I have not seen the season. Whatever. Where am I at? Apparently, he was known to mimic the look of Jeff the Killer by wearing his iconic white T-shirt and black pants, as well as dyeing his hair black. That is iconic. A Hanes white T-shirt. He's doing
A white T-shirt and black hair, iconic for sure.
fucking Charlie.
Oh,
he's like doing
Moist.
a Charlie outfit. Probably just looks like a Moist Critical fan. Yeah, I love him so much. As time went on, Donovan's interest for Jeff started to take a life of its own inside of his mind. He relates it to cell division, detailing that he began growing into two people, with Jeff being his bad side and often spoke to him.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, no shit. In fact,
It isn't real.
I'm a smart little bastard though, huh? If I ever uttered the word cell division, I'd be so stoked. I'm like, cell division right now. It's like, no, I'm like two people. And then people probably make like fat joke. I'm like, no, no. Jeff would convince him to do crazy things like destroy his own room and stab the walls.
Yo.
He
Sounds
admitted
like,
that-
wait, this sounds like the puppet guy too. Remember? The puppet told me to do it.
It's a Robert thing. Yeah, the kid with Robert just wanted a friend. He just wanted attention, which Donovan probably does too. There's probably like a yearning for positive reinforcement. He wants somebody to just fucking talk to him. You're not Heidi. You're not my real mom. He admitted that because of his admiration for the character, he loved being able to speak to him all day. Despite being directed to do bad things from time to time, he stated, and I quote, "My bad side started getting bigger and worse. I think about the options and I was often torn. But generally, I picked the good side. Generally. Donovan, when'd you pick the bad side? Is Heidi in the room? I don't want her to hear this. Which leads into the next section, the murder of Heidi Taylor.
That shit is so crazy,
The
bro.
bad side won.
This is why, yeah, exactly. Well, I guess Jeff prevailed on this one. This is one of those things, too, where it's just like, you gotta watch out, man. If you're fucking some dude and he's a weird son, black hair, white shirt, going around talking about cell division, and you're like, you're a fucking...
Okay, bro. This nigga is so unserious, bro. He's so unserious. Nigga said if you're fucking a chick and she's got a son that wears a white shirt with black hair, bro.
Weird son, black hair, white shirt, going around talking about cell division, and you're like, you're a fucking waste of space. I mean, it's horrible to say. I'm not trying to, it's a horrible thing that happened, but what the fuck, man? You're teasing a bowl in like a china shop. You know what I mean? It's like, destruction is imminent.
You gotta ask your stepchildren like who their idols are, and they say Jeff the Killer or anything creepypasta related.
Okay, first off, I don't think you want to ask your if you're a stepmother or father, I think the last thing you want to do is sit down and be like, who's your idol? Because they're going to say, what? Who's your idol? Also, wouldn't she just be like, who is that? She's read the story. Besides like Jeff the Killer, what would be like a really unhinged thing? Like a little girl.
Super Idol 的笑容.
That's normal. At this time, Donovan had a long-distance girlfriend that lived in Madison, Wisconsin, referred to as MW. She also claims to have an alternate personality named Crystal. Oh God, here we fucking go, dude.
Oh
Crystal.
yeah, they're fucking
My
psychopaths.
name, it's Ruby. I feel like nowadays you can't name any of your daughters any of the jewels or gems. It's unfortunate. Could be a nice enough girl named Diamond.
Or Pearl.
Pearl. Oh, it's such a gross name, though, isn't it? Here's my daughter, Pearl. We found her in a clam. Heidi Taylor did not approve of this relationship between MW and her son, which apparently led to Donovan losing phone privileges on many occasions. Seems kind of weird, too, Heidi, like stepping in. I'm his mom. Like, dude, you're fucking the dad. Am I wrong? Does it feel weird? I guess if she's raised him all of his life,
Here's
maybe,
my
but...
thing. Okay, so like stepping in to say you don't like his relationship, but then also bullying about everything he has going on and making him to be the odd one out is kind of insane.
Sounds like it was not that serious of a thing. Am I wrong? Did I read that wrong? Or did it seem like, oh, he just started dating this woman?
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Which this enraged Donovan, or Jeff, however you want to call him, because she was very important to Donovan as well as Jeff. MW and Crystal were important to Donovan and Jeff.
Oh, so wait, Donovan was dating MW and Jeff was dating Crystal.
Exactly. It's a lover's quarrel. It's like Animorphs. Like transform into something.
Nigga said Animorphs. Oh my god.
Exactly. It's a lover's quarrel. It's like Animorphs. Like transform into somebody else. At one point, he had been sifting and sending other inappropriate messages with her. Okay. All right. Sometime soon after, his phone was taken away. This made him nervous because he knew that if Heidi seized his phone and saw that what was being sent, she would likely force them to cut contact. Which Nicholas explains what followed one afternoon in April of 2017. Roll it.
Me and Jeff were very connected to MW. Like I said before recess, and I knew that if Heidi looked through my phone, she would find me texting MW.
Why are you reading like this, bro? He's not serious, bro. This is a serious. Me and Heidi was answering my phone. Yo.
Before recess, and I knew that if Heidi looked through my phone, she would find me texting MW. She does not approve of MW.
Oh.
She has taken MW away from me multiple times. I knew it was going to happen. I knew.
Why does
It
nigga
was
sound
going
like
to happen
Cartman?
again. Jeff's reaction was different than mine. I was scared of losing her, but I was feeling no sense of homicidalness at all.
Homicidalness, Jesus Christ.
But Jeff, on the other hand, he was absolutely furious. He was a homicidal person at heart, so of course that was the feeling that he was going to have. And with that anger came just a lot of anger.
With that anger came a lot of anger. Okay.
Yes, I went to a very, very deep trance because I was not able to resurface out of that trance.
Keeps like saying the thing and then reiterating again.
I was in a trance because I was in my trance.
Oh my god.
When I got into the trance,
Okay, dude. Come on, Donovan. Move on from the trance.
when Jeff came out to say he had put on his clothes that he kept in a drawer in Nicholas's room, and then he got his knife. Then he went downstairs and he proceeded to cut his face. He wanted to kill Heidi.
Are
Okay.
you telling me right now that Donovan actually cut his face?
Yeah, there's a picture.
Can you show
Donovan attempted to mimic the cuts Jeff made on his cheeks before enacting his plan. First
Wow.
using a knife, then opting for a small needle because it was too dull and hurt too much. Oh my God.
Oh,
Donovan,
wow.
what are you doing, buddy? He explains how he kept repeating to himself that he wasn't crazy, hoping he could fully wake from his evil side. It was all to no avail. And Donovan, who will continue to refer to himself in court as Jeff, recounts the entire murder.
Jeff then proceeded to hide between the hallway entrance door, and he called out her name to see if she would come downstairs. Heidi. Heidi. Jeff. and she
Yo,
came to the
this
door.
nigga is so not serious. Oh my God, bruh.
He hugged her from the front. I do not have a reason why he did this.
God, that's so sad.
It was either sympathy for her or sympathy for me, or maybe both. He did not hug her out of anger or intent. He hugged her out of some feeling that was not anger. And then when she started talking and asking about the cuts on his face, that is when he started to attack her.
Oh my
That's
God.
mentally hops in front of her, starts hugging her. It's almost like a plea. Get out of here, Heidi.
Yeah. Or it's like remorse because he's like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, he's just, which I'll get to a question here in a second, but he stabbed his mother, Heidi, over 60 times, all over her body, from her arms, her face, and her throat.
Jesus.
Heidi began running to other rooms in the house to escape. Blood stained the floor and walls
Oh
wherever
my
she moved.
God.
She eventually collapsed in the kitchen. Donovan recounts how tired Jeff was, making time for himself to grab a drink of water. At this point, Heidi awoke and began running upstairs.
There's no fucking way. There's no way that this nigga stopped to take a drink of water and went back to stabbing. No fucking shot.
Trying to find a phone to call 911.
Jeff ran past her, got into the master bedroom and collected the phone so she wouldn't be able to call 911. Jeff then saw Heidi Taylor collapse on the bed. And then that is when Jeff's own good side, very twisted good side, started to show. And he saw her suffering and in pain. And then he still wanted to end her life, but he didn't want her to suffer no more. And then he recalled that my father kept a gun in his nightstand. He got
So you stabbed her a bunch of times, saw she was still alive, and then shot her, my nigga? Oh my God.
the gun out and loaded it, and then he shot.
My fucking word.
Once Jeff was at the kitchen, he did not remain out for long, because when me and Jeff do a switch, it feels like running a marathon. You get tired, you get exhausted, you get drained. And then when he noticed that he stabbed himself on the leg, he was so tired and exhausted that he didn't want to deal with this predicament no more, so he let me resurface and handle the situation.
And we have a picture of the kitchen here, basically just covered in blood marks and stuff. Pretty fucking brutal. Soon after, he called 911 to explain what Jeff had done in a panic. From the call, it seemed that Donovan accidentally stabbed his leg during the confrontation.
911, where's your emergency?
I just killed my mother, and I need to go to the hospital. I'm sorry, this is going to be really hard to explain, but I kind of have another person inside me.
Okay, are you okay?
I know. I stabbed myself.
He told the operator that Jeff was
What
at fault
the
and that he
fuck?
did it because Heidi constantly ignored him, did drugs, and even hit him at one point. He also states, quote,
I didn't want to kill her. I hate Jeff so much. He's going to make me die in prison.
this is fucking sad, horrifying.
Yeah, nah,
this
this
is the
is
question I
crazy.
have. Do you think he really actually believed that Jeff was there?
It's hard to say because whether he has some kind of personality disorder or something, I think he believed it in a sense. Like he made up this thing where it's like, this is to
Right, yeah, okay, yeah. That nigga definitely has some type of split personality disorder. And whether it is whether he believes it or not. Like when we believe it, it's like, you really don't know what's going on in somebody else's head, so you can't make assumptions based off that. But it's like, it's hard to explain because it's like that evil is always inside of you. That evil is always inside of you. You just gave it a name. It was like, oh, this can be my evil. This can be what I can't explain in my head. This can be something that can explain what the fuck is going on with me, if that makes sense. Niggas is always looking for an answer, so that's his answer. Is that evil he felt inside of him, bro? It was like it's clearly not me because I don't want to feel like this. I don't like feeling like this. So this is something else. So this is Jeff. That's why he gave it a name. You know what I'm saying? Gave it its own personality.
explain his
Sure.
anger and stuff. So
Yeah.
to him, he's like, Jeff came out, but really, I think it might have been like, I'm angry. And
He has no
that's-
idea how to actually process
Yeah.
his emotions.
Yeah.
I think that he believes that it is a character, but at the same time, I think it's like, I hate when people use the excuse or whatever. Oh, I blacked out. I blacked out. I don't know what happened. I just very rarely believe that, which maybe it's true. You know, maybe there can be instances of that, but it's always just like to mask usually something horrible that somebody's done. So to me, it feels like he's trying to get to that of like, oh, I blacked out. It wasn't me. It was somebody else. But it feels like consciously I did this, but it was this alternate person that I am. Like I wanted this to happen. And now it's this thing of like this other side of him that he consciously knew what happened. And now he's like, that side of myself, I'm going to rot in prison for what happened or something. It's very sad. No,
Yeah.
I mean, like, Heidi could have been abusive, all this kind of stuff. No way a human being should be fucking over 60 times stabbed and then shot. Just so
Crazy.
tragic. And then to have a child here just be like, constantly ignored him, did drugs, and even him at one point. It's just a buildup over time. Also shows you how receptive children are. It's just like, oh, whatever. Like, he's fine. It's just sad. Also, where's the dad and all
Where
this?
is the fucking father?
I don't know if he's just gone working or doing what, but the amount of friction between Heidi and Donovan is crazy, which, you could say like, oh, it's not.
But the thing is, like, that's something you should notice. As, you know what I'm saying, as your father, that's something you should notice, that your wife and your son are not getting along. That there's a constant battle between. That's something you need to notice.
Not my real mom or whatever, but I don't know. I've had tons of friends who they consider their stepmom their real mom. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. I don't know.
I did like the fact that once he realized he was hurt, Jeff ran away. I don't want to feel the pain anymore. Come back, Donovan.
Yeah. There's also a comment on the 911 call, the video, which we'll have, make sure we'll have linked. I don't know how true this is. This was just a comment, which it says, this kid's locker was right next to mine in 8th grade when this happened. Never really said anything to him other than excuse me, but did notice pentagrams in his locker. He was new at our school that year and definitely the KISSIMMEE kid. Still pretty crazy to this day to think that he did this when he was 14. Which,
Crazy.
100% a person lashing out for attention, wanting desperately attention. And if it is true that if he was the new kid, even harder for yourself socially. Now you're the outcast, you're trying to like fit into friend groups that have probably been together for a while. It's brutal.
Well, I mean, he even said it. I like Jeff because Jeff has power.
Yeah.
And it's probably just like, nobody likes me. Also, him talking to himself. He's so lonely. He needs like...
Yeah, he needs his
He
own.
needs some
he needs
type of,
himself to be his friend, and his
communication.
only other person that he feels connected to. And there's this
And then there's also the thing of he felt lonely. The only person that he had communication with besides himself was that girl, and then you took away his main source of communication with somebody other than himself. So it was just like a buildup of shit.
sexual aspect to it. I mean, you're going through puberty and you're having all those feelings and stuff, whatever, at 14.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like Crystal is his only other connection, you know? He doesn't say that he has any other friends. Or if he did have friends, he probably ostracized them because he was just like, hey, I idolized Jeff the Killer. Hello?
I bet they both like Jeff the Killer talking about it, and then she made up her personality, and then he's like, I kind of thought the same way. Yeah.
Like if she introduced the alt personality thing to him, and then he was like, I think I have that.
I wonder where that girl is this day. Like, I wonder where the fuck she is. Like, the dude that you were talking to at the ripe age of 14 killed his mother. And you were also telling the world, or telling him you had a split personality as well.
Too.
Exactly.
You never know. Yeah. Who knows? Moving into the court and jail time arc of this story, there was a massive debate as to whether or not Donovan truly had an alternate personality. One psychologist addressed that he had many symptoms of dissociative identity disorder, but unlike most patients, he was much more aware of the actions taken by his alternate personalities. As much as he claimed to be out of control, Donovan's own testimony revealed that he indulged in fantasies about the murder, and that if he decided to do it, he would take on the role of Jeff the Killer. Well, that doesn't help your case.
Yeah, that doesn't, yeah.
You do have a paper trail. Come on. This language gave the impression that the split personality was all a front to shift the blame. Furthermore, Donovan did not seem to experience the extreme childhood trauma that is often linked with DID. Dr. David Spiegel, a Stanford University psychiatry professor, became skeptical of a DID diagnosis when he found out that Donovan wore the same outfit as Jeff the Killer wore during the murder, stating, quote, "When you're really experiencing it, you don't need the props." The conclusions were split. Some health professionals believed he was legally sane, while others were convinced that he was severely mentally ill. Donovan was ultimately sent to a juvenile detention center where he was visited by family often. Todd Taylor, Heidi Taylor's other son, would express his deep anger towards Donovan, asking how often he thinks about what he did. And Donovan told him, quote, "I can't even sleep. Most of the time I curl up in the corner of my bed crying and screaming."
Damn.
And days before his 16th birthday, Donovan was given a life sentence with 28 years in prison before he could be eligible for parole. Donovan repeatedly appealed this decision, believing that he shouldn't be tried as an adult. Things went in his favor as the court justices agreed that Donovan required a better chance at rehabilitation. His case was sent back to juvenile court. He ended up walking free on his 21st birthday after pleading guilty for aggravated assault, a decision that appalled many of his family.
Yo. See, this is that bullshit I be talking about. Assault, aggravated, nigga, she is dead. 21. Hey, if he kills somebody else, it's on y'all, bro.
Especially Todd, who couldn't find it in his heart to forgive him. As they rode home together, Todd recalls breaking the silence to tell Donovan, "I don't want to hear your name unless it's for getting Citizen of the Year."
Damn, he had to ride in the same car.
I would not ride in the same
Nah,
car.
bro, I couldn't trust myself riding in the same car. I literally couldn't trust myself riding in the same. I would have popped that nigga, bro. No cap. Like, no, like, not in GTA. None of that. I would have popped that nigga, bro. And then I would have been going to jail. Somebody else got to do it. Nah, bro, he wouldn't have made it home. On baby. He wouldn't have made it home.
Dude,
No.
that was my mom, whatever. I don't give a fuck how that would be too much. Many people from Heidi's family made statements regarding the type of person she was. Someone far different than evil woman that Donovan described during the trial. Her close friends stated that if she was ever hard on the kids, it was because she knew that they were a lot of potential to accomplish great things. Heidi's two children would talk about the wonderful weekends they spent together, the hikes and the family camping trips. Donovan's image of Heidi seemed to be far from the truth, according to them. While Donovan felt that there was no effort to help him when he was self-harming and dealing with depression, Heidi's daughter, Alyssa, revealed that both parents were constantly being supportive. They would do their best to make sure he was never alone and even push him to get proper counseling. After his release in 2023, Donovan continued to receive support from his father. His siblings, however, decided they wanted nothing to do with him, no matter how well his rehabilitation progress went. Wow,
Hell no.
It's crazy. I did not expect him to be free. He is a free man. Donovan is walking the
Hell
streets
no.
as we know it.
Hell no.
It goes to show, first off, you never really know. Who knows what happened, right? People say one thing, another person says another thing. You know, Donovan says this person was neglectful, all this kind of stuff. Her family and friends say that she was awesome and that she was supportive. We don't really know. All we know is that in Donovan's mind, he perceived it to be this thing. I think he was, and I mean, maybe still is, mentally disturbed. I think when people get into a very negative, hard part of their life, I mean, God, dude, being 14, such a hard age. Like,
Yeah.
everything's kind of collapsing around you. You have to go to school, but you don't really, I mean, it's just, it's all these things where it's like, you really have like no freedom and you're kind of stuck with people and you have to kind of like make friends, and if school's hard, then you're stuck there every day. It's like a prison sentence. It's very hard. I think Donovan did something horrible, irredeemable. You're going to live with that for the rest of your life, and you did it when you're 14. Now you're 23. There's probably a lot more mental clarity. You're probably able to move past some of the things you were struggling with when you were younger. That's a weight you're at.
Nah. I still wouldn't even trust that. You're not getting out. You're not walking scot-free. I'm sorry.
To carry around forever. And I think too, like the family not forgiving him, I mean, like, obviously the Jeff the killer angle is funny. That's just no getting around that. It is funny. People will latch on to anything for a semblance of identity and like purpose,
Yeah.
or, you know, friendships,
For sure.
or anything that will like fill these like little voids and stuff. And it's just insane that, I don't know, a kid did this. It's truly horrifying. You see it with the Slenderman stories. You know, this video is kind of ending on the same note, except this time, you know, the victim didn't make it, which is horrible. You know, I don't know if there's a lesson here to be said. I don't think I'm a smart enough man to articulate that lesson, but I will say this: if you're a youngin', or if you're at any age and you're mentally struggling with something, just seek help. Ask for help outside of your support system. Even if it feels like the world's collapsing on you, seek help. Find somebody to talk to. There's good people everywhere. I'll say that much. There's a lot of dickhead people out there too, but there's, I would say, more good than bad, is what I would say. Is that a good way? I don't know. I feel depressed.
I mean, it's kind of depressing. It's a child.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. Like in the thing, they were trying to try him as an adult at 14. He just turned 15. But it's just like he was obviously mentally unhinged.
Yeah, he's clearly mentally ill.
Yeah.
Even if he's using the DID.
Here's my thing. It's like, either if he's mentally not okay, why the fuck would you let him go? I feel like at that point, you shouldn't be, if you're mentally unhinged, put that nigga in a sane asylum or something. You know what I'm saying? Put that nigga where he needs to be. You feel me? He played that angle, put him there. If you don't want to be trialed as an adult and go to jail for the rest of your life, give you that angle and you're going to be in an asylum for the rest of your life. Either way, but you still killed someone. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like at that age you should be able to walk free after 20 at 21. You have a whole body on your belt that you went to jail for. It should be no like there should be no reason why I'm sorry, bro. I just can't like I can understand if it was like accidental, like you know how sometimes a kid will get like a parent's gun and accidentally let it off. For that, for sure. But if there was intent to kill and you knew right from wrong and still chose to do it, you have to go to jail for the full time, bro. I'm sorry. It's not an accident.
As a coping mechanism for what he's doing, I still think that like it takes a truly disturbed individual to enact such a horrible thing. The person's not mentally well. It's a gray area. Like I feel like the people are going to be on a side where they're like he should be in bars the rest of his life. Oh, he's just a kid. It's like a gray area, like a moral gray area of how he should be punished or whatever. And it's just truly the only people affected are the family members that have to deal with it forever, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like I said, you fuck up when you're young and it stays with you forever. The biggest thing we can take away from the story is fucking seek help. If you feel like you're totally alone and stuff like that, just see a counselor. Find ways to better yourself and then just try to like insert yourself into people's lives, like friendships and all that kind of stuff too, because it's out there. Fucking horrifying. Jeff the Killer's a terrible story, by the way. It's really bad. If you wrote the story though, please I want to hear from you, please. So that's our episode of It's Been a Long Time of True Crime Meat. I hope you all have a fantastic
W video though. Shout out me, KISSIMMEE.